You will be a millionaire within 30 days. Not because of grinding harder, not because of hustle culture, not because of anything conventional wisdom preaches, but because you are about to awaken to a truth that has quietly shaped every great fortune, every remarkable life, every seemingly impossible transformation in human history. That truth is this: imagination creates reality. The moment you accept this not as an inspiring theory, but as an unshakable fact, your life begins to reorganize itself around your assumptions. The wealth you desire, the lifestyle you envision, the security you long for, none of it is out there waiting to be seized. It is already within you, waiting for your command. And in exactly 1 month, if you dare to genuinely assume the feeling of the wish already fulfilled, you will witness the outer world yielding to your inner world with breathtaking precision. Do not ask how. That is the single most fatal error a person can make. To ask how is to quietly confess that you do not yet truly believe. The how belongs to the deeper dimension of yourself, the infinite intelligence that orchestrates all things. Your task is not to engineer the bridge of circumstances that will carry you to your millions. Your task is to accept the end, to live in the end, to feel the reality of already having what you want so completely that it becomes the most natural thing in the world. Neuroscience supports this more than most people realize. The brain's reticular activating system, a network of neurons at the base of the brainstem, filters the enormous flood of information you encounter daily and highlights only what matches your dominant beliefs and expectations. Change what you believe about yourself, and your brain will literally begin spotlighting opportunities, people, and ideas that were always there but previously invisible to you. For that which you accept as true of yourself, though denied by every sense, if persisted in, will harden into fact. So do not look to the newspaper, the bank statement, or the outer circumstances for confirmation. These are the shadows of previous assumptions, echoes of the old self, not the new one. The new you is already a millionaire. You must walk as though you already possess what the world says is still to come. You must dine with the wealthy in your imagination. You must walk through your ideal home in consciousness. See the numbers in your account as final, done unquestioned. This is not poetry. This is the literal mechanics of creation. Every building you have ever entered, every road you have driven, every product you have ever used, all of it first existed as an imagined idea inside someone's mind before it ever touched the physical world. Someone imagined it, dared to believe in what was still invisible, and the visible world conformed. You are no different. So if you say, "I want to be a millionaire," that is not enough. Wanting is the open confession of lack. It announces to the deepest part of yourself that you do not yet have it. You must say instead, "I am a millionaire." Not tomorrow, not someday, now, even if the bills pile high, even if logic sneers, even if people you love raise their eyebrows and call you delusional. You must persist, because the God within you, your own wonderful human imagination, is not moved by circumstances. It is moved by assumption. It is moved by the sustained inner conviction that something is already so. And when you dare to believe something truly grand about yourself and hold to that belief with patience and intensity, that imagination fulfills what it has assumed. Consider the story of a man who was down to his last dollar. No job, no prospects, no clear path forward. But he encountered these truths and made a decision, not to wish for wealth, but to live as though it were already his. He imagined himself writing checks freely, gifting his family generously, moving through the world with the easy confidence of someone who never once worried about money. He did this with such frequency and such sincerity that he could physically feel the texture of abundance, the weight of it, the warmth of it, the deep ease of it. And then one morning, a phone call arrived. A forgotten investment had matured. He was suddenly worth millions. He had done nothing in the physical world to manufacture this outcome. He had simply accepted it as real in consciousness first, and the outer world delivered its response. The law of assumption does not evaluate whether something is currently true or false. It simply materializes whatever is persistently impressed upon it. You are the operant power. You choose what to believe. And if you will choose to believe that you are already wealthy, that the money is yours, that every need is met, that abundance is your natural state, then you will watch reality reorganize itself to match that inner conviction. It must. The world is a mirror, and it reflects what you are, not what you want. So become the thing you seek, and the thing will come running to you. This is not positive thinking. Positive thinking is surface level. This is about something far deeper, entering a state of consciousness that genuinely matches the result you desire. Research in behavioral psychology and performance science consistently shows that identity level change, when a person shifts not just their behavior, but their self-concept, produces lasting transformation in ways that surface habits and willpower never can. When you change who you believe yourself to be, everything else changes with it. Let us enter the state of the millionaire right now. How would you walk? With ease, with presence, with unhurried confidence. How would you speak? With clarity and generosity, never shrinking from boldness. How would you think? Not about what you cannot afford, but about what you want to create next. You would no longer flinch at generosity. You would no longer scan menus for the cheapest option. You would feel a quiet, settled certainty, a divine satisfaction that is entirely independent of what the outer world is showing you at any given moment. That feeling is the secret. All transformation begins with assumption. The assumption of the feeling of the wish fulfilled is the creative act. It is performed in silence, in stillness, entirely within. You may do it lying in bed, riding the subway, sitting in a waiting room. And if you do it with sincerity, with genuine emotional intensity, with repetition that gradually makes it feel completely natural, the world will conform. You need not advertise it. You need not convince a single person. You need only convince yourself. For the only creative power that matters in this equation is the one inside you, and that power is not somewhere distant. It is in your imagination, right now, waiting to be given a clear and sustained direction. To be a millionaire in 1 month, you must learn to think from the end rather than toward it. Do not think about money as something you are pursuing. Think for money as your present reality. Do not imagine the process of getting rich. Imagine already being rich, the texture of it, the ease of it, the conversations you would have, the letters you would write, the things you would do without hesitation. Use every sense available to you. Hear the conversations. Smell the surroundings. Feel the physical ease in your body that comes with genuine financial freedom. Imagination felt as real as not escapism. It is the most precise creative tool available to human beings. When athletes mentally rehearse performance, when surgeons mentally rehearse procedures, when musicians mentally rehearse passages, they activate the same neural pathways as physical practice. Your imagination, used with feeling and repetition, is not a side activity. It is the primary act. Each morning when you rise, close your eyes and feel that it is already done. Each night before you sleep, review your day as a millionaire would. Did you carry that state throughout the hours? Did you feel it, speak from it, move through the world as someone who already has? If you faltered, do not dwell on it in guilt. Revise it. In imagination, rewrite the day. Edit the scenes that slipped. Replace the moments of doubt with moments of quiet certainty. This practice, which some call mental revision, is not self-deception. It is a deliberate correction of the inner record that your deeper mind uses as its blueprint. You are not lying to yourself. You are updating the file. And just as surely as spring follows winter, the harvest follows the planting. You will begin to notice subtle changes. At first, people will respond to you slightly differently. A new warmth, a new respect, a new attentiveness you cannot fully explain. Ideas will flash into your mind at unexpected moments. Opportunities will present themselves through seemingly random channels. An inner certainty will begin to settle in you that nothing in the outer world is yet justified, and yet it will feel more real than any bank statement ever has. These are not coincidences. They are the first visible shoots of the assumption you have planted. Do not dig them up with analysis. Do not measure them against your old expectations. Water them with faith. The process is already in motion. If fear rises, and it will Do not wrestle with it. Simply return to the state. Close your eyes and step back into the scene of already having. See the figures in your account. Feel the joy of generosity. Hear the gratitude of those around you. Repetition is not stubbornness. It is the language the subconscious understands. Every major tradition of inner transformation, from ancient Stoic practice to modern cognitive behavioral therapy, agrees on one thing. Sustained, emotionally charged mental rehearsal reshapes the deep structures of belief. Once the subconscious accepts a new assumption as its baseline reality, the outer world must follow. You are not forcing reality. You are allowing it to become what you have already silently declared within. A woman once shared with me that after following this exact process, she felt an inexplicable pull to purchase a lottery ticket, something she had never done. She did not analyze the numbers logically. She simply felt moved. When she scratched the ticket, she found herself suddenly in possession of 6 figures. She was not surprised, not because she was lucky, but because she had already received it within. The ticket was merely the bridge, and she understood with calm certainty that the channel of delivery was never hers to determine. She had only to remain faithful to the assumption. The method had chosen itself. The key, always, is feeling. Without feeling, imagination is sterile repetition. With feeling, it is a divine act of creation. So do not rehearse your scenes mechanically. Do not chant affirmations with a hollow voice. Feel your way into the experience. Dwell in it. Savor it. Let it saturate your being until it feels more natural than your current bank balance. For your current bank balance is real to you only because you have consistently given it your attention and accepted it as the truth of who you are. Shift your attention. Sustain the new feeling, and you shift your world. What the eyes see is temporary, a projection of past assumptions. What you imagine with sustained feeling is creative and generative. It is the originating cause, not the trailing effect. In 1 month. If you will live in the end, if you will assume the reality of wealth and remain faithful to that assumption regardless of appearances, the millions will come, whether through a sudden opportunity, an unexpected inheritance, a business breakthrough, a creative idea whose time has arrived, or a convergence of circumstances so precise it defies rational explanation. It does not matter. The delivery method is not your concern. Your power is the assumption. Hold to it. Refuse to waver. The world outside has never been a cause of anything in your life. It has only ever been the effect. Will you dare to believe? Will you shed the identity of the person defined by doubt, by limitation, by the fear that wealth is for other people, and step fully into the identity of someone for whom abundance is simply the truth? Will you persist when the circumstances offer no confirmation? Will you hold the assumption steady when logic mounts its case against you? If you will, then in 1 month's time, your outer life will reflect your inner conviction with an accuracy that will astonish you. You are not waiting on money. Money is waiting on you. It is waiting for your self-concept to rise to meet it. It is waiting for your inner conversation to align with it. It is waiting for your assumption to become stable and unconditional. So become now the version of yourself who already has it. Think as that person thinks. Feel as that person feels. Make decisions as that person makes them. The law of assumption does not recognize virtue or effort or deservingness. It recognizes only state. State is the only variable that matters. And when you enter the state of the one who has everything necessary to that state, the people, the ideas, the opportunities, the resources will find their way to you with precision that no amount of strategic planning could engineer. So let the world hustle and compete while you enter your inner chamber and commune with the infinite intelligence within you. Imagine boldly, assume lavishly, and persist not with gritted teeth, but with the quiet joy of someone who already knows the outcome, until the unseen becomes seen. For it must. It always must. You are already that which you seek. You have simply not yet accepted it. Accept it now. You are rich. You are powerful. You are the operant creative force in your own experience. Walk in that assumption. And to the one who dares, the world bows gracefully. Let this month be your demonstration. Every morning and every evening, return to the state, live in the end. Revise whatever needs correcting. Saturate your mind with the imagery of wealth, the sound of abundance, the feeling of genuine financial freedom, and then release it. Walk in peace. Act as though it is already settled. You will notice a quiet transformation unfold from the inside out. What once felt like fantasy will gradually begin to feel like simple fact. And when the assumed state begins to feel natural, when you no longer have to work to inhabit it because it has become your default, that is when it is done. For nothing enters your life until it first becomes part of your inner structure. You cannot receive what you have not yet genuinely accepted as yours. Begin to speak of yourself differently. Not, I will have it, but I have it. Not, it is coming, but it is here. This inner shift is not self-deception in the way the world uses that term. It is the only genuinely real act available to you, because the outer world, for all its seeming solidity, is nothing more than a condensed form of your sustained inner speech and feeling. The most respected researchers in the psychology of self-concept, people like Carol Dweck, whose work on mindset has transformed education and performance science globally, have demonstrated consistently that the story a person tells about themselves is the single greatest predictor of their outcomes. Change the story. Change the outcome. It is not a metaphor. It is mechanism. Watch your inner conversation with the same care a master gardener watches the soil. You cannot plant the seeds of wealth while the ground is flooded with the language of lack. You cannot complain about bills in one breath and expect freedom in the next. The law does not make exceptions for sincerity or good intentions. It simply produces a harvest of what you most consistently plant. So train your inner dialogue to reflect the life you are choosing. Say within, I always have more than enough. Money finds me through channels I could not have predicted. Everything I give my attention to flourishes. Do not say these as hollow repetitions. Say them until they move you. Say them until they feel like the only honest description of who you are. You do not manifest what you occasionally feel in a good moment. You manifest what you consistently assume across ordinary moments. Begin to delight in your imagination rather than treating it as homework. Make it a sanctuary, a retreat, a place you genuinely love to visit. Walk into imagined rooms that speak of quiet elegance. Hear conversations in which people acknowledge your success with genuine warmth. Feel the satisfaction of giving generously to those you love, not from strain but from overflow. Let the scenes flow with pleasure rather than effort. This is how you outgrow the old world. You do not fight it or argue with it. You simply grow beyond it through the consistent practice of joyful assumption until the old story no longer fits and the new one feels like home. The opinions of others cannot touch your world unless you give them admission. Every person is dreaming their own dream. Their assumptions about what is possible for you are only valid to the extent that you accept them. You must become quietly ruthless with your own mind. When it offers thoughts of limitation or unworthiness, you do not wrestle with them. You simply return to the truth you have chosen. The wrestling only amplifies what you resist. Instead, star the old story by consistently feasting on the new one. Doubt is not dissolved by confrontation. It is dissolved by neglect, by redirecting your attention so completely to the assumed reality that the doubt eventually finds no soil to grow in. Watch what unfolds quietly around you. Conversations will begin to shift. Opportunities that seem to appear from nowhere will start presenting themselves with increasing frequency. You may receive unexpected refunds, sudden increases, gifts you did not anticipate. Do not call these coincidences, because they are not. They are the world's faithful reflection of the image you have been painting within. The outer has no creative power of its own. It only mirrors, and it mirrors faithfully without judgment, without delay beyond what the depth of your assumption requires. In the small, quiet moment of the day, remind yourself, it is done, not it will be done. It is done. The wealth is yours now. You are already living from it, already receiving it, already enjoying it in the only place that matters, within. Let that be your new inner refrain. Let it repeat not with strain, but with the ease of something you simply know to be true. When you feel the temptation to check your account balance and compare it to your desire, remember that impulse belongs to the old identity. The new identity does not need confirmation. It already has the only confirmation that creates reality, the inner knowing. This is not the denial of the senses. This is the recreation of the senses. The senses report only what past beliefs have authorized them to see. Change a belief at the root, and the fruit must change. The outer world has never been the cause of a single thing in your life. It is always, without exception, the effect. So if today you sit without visible evidence of your wealth, do not take that as information about what is possible. Take it only as information about what you have previously assumed, and then choose differently. Right now, in this moment, with no waiting and no conditions, all things already exist. The fortune you desire is not waiting to be created. It already exists in the realm of the infinite, in the field of all possibilities that quantum physics describes as the ground state of reality. You are not creating it from nothing. You are aligning with it. You are tuning your inner frequency to match it, and that alignment is not achieved through effort or moral worthiness. It is achieved through state, through the sustained assumption of already being the one who has. When you fully enter that state, everything necessary to it, every person, every resource, every idea, every synchronicity, will organize itself around you with an intelligence that transcends planning. Use revision as your daily instrument of correction. When a scene plays out in a way that does not match your desired reality, a rejection, an expense, a discouraging conversation, do not accept it as a final word. In imagination, rewrite it. Let the rejection become an acceptance. Let the expense become an income. Let the discouraging conversation become one of enthusiasm and possibility. You are not lying to yourself. You are exercising your authority as the author of your experience. The world is not a fixed script handed to you. It is a living story, and you hold the pen. Use revision not as fantasy, but as a deliberate correction of the inner record. And watch the days that follow begin to reflect the edited version with remarkable consistency. Imagination is not a supplement to life. It is life itself at its source. You imagine yourself into your current experience, most of it unknowingly, by default, by absorbing the assumptions of those around you without questioning them. Now you will imagine deliberately. You will assume consciously. You will no longer drift in the current of other people's beliefs about what is possible for you. You will set your own direction from the inside out with intention and joy. That is the way of the awakened creator. Not striving, assuming, not forcing, allowing, not begging, declaring. As you move through these 30 days, watch the mind the way a skilled navigator watches a compass. Do not let it wander aimlessly into old stories of limitation. Guide it gently and persistently back toward your chosen end. You are not a leaf carried by the wind. You are the wind, and what you consistently blow upon takes form. So direct that force wisely and lovingly toward wealth, toward freedom, toward the kind of abundance that allows you to live fully and give generously and contribute meaningfully to the world around you. The more real the assumed state feels within you, the faster it moves into visible expression. So make it real now. Close your eyes and step into the scene with your whole being. Hear your own voice saying, "I did it. I am free." Feel the relief move through your body like water through dry ground. Hear the people you love celebrating with you. Let that imagined scene become more vivid than any memory from your past. Because in the world of imagination, all time is now. What you imagine with feeling now becomes a memory your future self looks back on. Plant the memory forward, and the future must grow toward it. Here is the simple and profound truth that contains everything else. You are the master of your reality. The world you see is nothing but the reflection of the assumptions you carry within. If you will boldly and unwaveringly assume the feeling of already being a millionaire, if you will persist in that assumption through doubt, through delay, through the apparent silence of the outer world, then the outer world must conform. The wealth you desire is not far away. It is not hidden behind some gate of luck or privilege. It exists now, in the realm of the possible, waiting for your consciousness to rise to meet it. You are not bound by your history. You are not defined by your current bank balance. You are not limited by the economy, the opinions of experts, or the accumulated evidence of what your life has looked like until now. All of that is the past, crystallized into a present that is already dissolving the moment you choose a new assumption. The law of assumption is as reliable as the law of gravity, not because it is mystical, but because it is a fundamental structure of how human consciousness interacts with reality. What you persistently imagine with genuine feeling, what you consistently accept as already true, must appear in your world. It cannot do otherwise. It has no mechanism for otherwise. You are already in possession of your wealth. The world simply has not yet caught up with what you have decided within. So trust the law. Trust your own power. Trust that what is yours by assumption is already on its way. And stop trying to watch it arrive. Walk in the knowing, live in the end, and let the world, in all its mystery and precision, make way for the reality you have chosen. You will be a millionaire in 1 month, not by luck, not by grinding, but because you dared to imagine, assumed with feeling, persisted without apology, and lived in the end without waiting for permission from the world. And the world, the seemingly immovable, apparently fixed world, will melt and reshape itself to reflect exactly what you have dared to accept as true. It always does. It always has. Now it is your turn.